Hi friends, welcome to the Share and Invite Proclaim channel. My name is Judy. Please excuse my voice. I've been sick with this congestion and cough and all this, so well enough at least to do another message on Revelation chapter 13. And last time I was talking about the first window, and the first window has a woman on the crescent moon here, and this represents Israel, and the baby represents the Messiah about to be born, and here's the 12 tribes of Israel, and she is ready to give birth. Satan is trying to kill the baby, and then but then the baby it goes to heaven and is protected, and the woman is protected for 3.5 years, and then Satan tries to kill her again by a flood, but the earth opens up and the waters go into the crevices, and she is saved. And then the second window is a beast coming out of the earth. Out of the sea, and this was also the last message. And this represents the political power of Rome. And today I want to talk about the beast from the land. The beast from the land. And this talks about controlling emperor worship. Because, if you can get the political powers under your control, then you can eventually get the religious powers under your control. Well, in all of the cities of Asia Minor, there was a 10-member council called the Concilia, and they monitored Caesar worship. And in verse 12 of chapter 13, this Concilia exercises all the authority of the first beast from the sea, and he makes the earth and the people in it to worship the beast, which is the Roman government and the Caesar. Dr. Blevins talks about that in Ephesus, a large statue of Caesar Domitian has been uncovered. It's 16 feet tall and hollow on the inside, in which then the priests or the Concilia could go inside and talk as if the statue is talking, which is in verse 15. But back in 13, he performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down out of heaven to the earth. In verse 14, and he deceives people with signs to make an image of the beast from the sea. And those who would not worship the beast were killed. And to identify those who would worship the beast, a number of the beast was tattooed either on the forehead or on their hand. It was the number 666. And if further issue was that if you didn't have this number on your forehead or on your hand, you could not buy or sell in the market. So so if you were a Christian, if you were not immediately killed by refusing to worship Caesar, then you have automatically created a economic crisis for yourself. In all totalitarian governments throughout history, this mesh between church and state has caused many a problem. But in the U.S., our Constitution promotes the separation of church and state, the separation of powers, to try to protect our rights as citizens. I worry that the danger of the misuse of AI will threaten the rights of citizens and the separation of church and state. Well, this fourth window is chapter 14, and it is the Lamb, which is always Jesus, and the 144, which represents all true Christians, right here in this window. And they are standing there on Mount Zion, which is typically Jerusalem. And those believers have the name of Christ and the name of God on their foreheads. And John heard a voice or a choir in heaven singing a new song to the four living creatures and the elders, and to the 144,000. The elders are playing their harps and sing this new song. And only Christians can learn this new song in verse 3. In verse 4, excuse me, these are the Christians who did not defile themselves in immoral worship, in worship services like in the temple of Diana and other pagan temples. In verse 5, no lie was found in their mouth. They did not worship Caesar as Lord. They would not say that. They would say Jesus is Lord. And the first fruits are the harvest being offered to God. And then we have an interlude. Sorry. Well, here it is. We have an interlude between the fourth and the fifth window, right here, an interlude. And in this interlude, we have in Revelation 14, verses 6 through 13. And this is a preview of upcoming events. John has a vision of three angels. Verse 6 and 7, the first angel announces the gospel to all peoples of the earth. And he said with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heaven and the earth and the seas and the springs of the waters." This angel declared the victory even before it happens. In verse 8, the second angel refers to the Roman government as Babylon. Babylon symbolizes wicked power. This empire conquered Israel and destroyed Solomon's temple and exiled the Jewish people. But in the New Testament, Babylon is referred to as the Roman government. In verse 9, the third angel says that anyone who worships the beast and has his mark 666 on his forehead or on his hand, verse 7, will receive the wrath of God in full strength. And he will receive torment with fire and brimstone, that's sulfur and hell. He will be tormented for eternity. In verse 11, torment is forever. Now, there was this Gnostic group in the first century called the Nicolaitans, who tried to resolve this issue by saying that whatever you did in your body didn't affect your soul, which was in heaven, and so you could behave any way you wanted to in the physical body, but it wouldn't affect your salvation. Well, that way they could say Caesar is Lord, so that they could buy and sell in the marketplace, and then feel confident that they would still be saved. But in verse 12, Christians needed to hear the reminder of the perseverance of God's commands and faith in Jesus. And just know that that if you worship the beast, your fate is sealed. Although in some of the other chapters that we haven't talked about yet, God still offers a place for people to repent. And of course, they don't. But the offer is always there. Verse 13, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. These are the martyrs, and they get to rest from their labors. And then we have the fifth window. And this is the Son of Man. And he has a golden crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Now, the sickle is a and the word him is capitalized. So this angel is telling him, Jesus Christ, who sat on the cloud, to use his sickle for the time to reap his. Identified someone that will do the harvesting of the grapes. And what's the symbol of the great wine press? Is this the final judgment day? is still a preview of what's to come. So sometimes there's more questions than answers. Yet we haven't had the 7 bowls of wrath, or the battle of Armageddon, or the coming of Christ, or the beast. And that it's giving you maybe some. Well, we don't know if some of this is in chronological order or if some of this is happening, at the same time. We just don't know. But we like to think in chronological order, so we don't know. But I hope that it's giving you something to think about, pray about, and do some more study. And let me know what you think about these beasts from the sea and the land, and the power that the dragon gives to them, and what they do, and what's going to happen to them, and then the victory of the reaping of rewards for those who are believers, and punishment for those who are not. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.